Hi, I'm Jessica, and when I'm not drinking all the coffee, watching Razorback sports, or hanging out with my family of boys, it's my passion to help elementary music teachers just like you find your unique teaching style. My goal with this podcast is to share helpful tips, strategies, and to give you the motivation you need to gain momentum in your teaching so you can continue being the music teacher rock star you already are. Welcome back, friends, and happy 4th of July. So today is 4th of July, like I just said, which means it's America's birthday. And so you might be at the lake today or just preparing to shoot off fireworks tonight or just enjoying summer vacation. And however you're celebrating 4th of July, I want you to first of all enjoy 4th of July. But also, I thought today would be the perfect opportunity to talk about the best patriotic songs to teach to your elementary music students. Obviously, you're not teaching elementary music in July, but this is a great day to talk all about patriotic music. So when you go back to your classroom, you have some patriotic songs ready to go for the school year. Now, one thing I really like doing is a different patriotic song every month with your kiddos. You can call it the patriotic song of the month. I usually start off the school year by teaching the national anthem or the Star Spangled Banner. And then from there, you can do a different one each month. If you don't want to do that, maybe you want to teach patriotic songs as a unit, where if you're doing a different culture of the month every month, this is another great idea. Well, one of the cultures or countries of the month to teach music from would be obviously America. And that whole month could just be centered around teaching, American music and patriotic music from America. However you choose to teach it in your classroom is a totally personal preference. We've talked about that so many times about you get to be uniquely you in your classroom and not like anyone else, right? And so how you choose to teach patriotic music in your classroom is completely up to you. So I want to let you know that in the show notes is a link to a blog post that it contains the exact songs we're talking about today, called 10 of the Best Patriotic Songs for Elementary Music Students. Or if you just head to thedomesticmusician.com and click on blog, in the search bar at the very bottom, you can just type in patriotic songs and you'll see that blog post come up. So, like I said, we already talked about the Star Spangled Banner. This is definitely one of the first songs I recommend teaching in elementary music classroom. Why? Well, it's America's national anthem, okay? Now, you're going to notice with a lot of patriotic songs or any songs that were written long, long ago that a lot of the words are very kind of hard for your kiddos to understand. There's just, they're old words. And so one of the first things I really like, especially with the Star Spangled Banner, and there was actually another blog post linked to a blog post I wrote about the Star Spangled Banner and how to teach it. But basically, one thing I like to do, first of all, is read a story about the Star Spangled Banner and just kind of talk about how it was written and all about Francis Scott Key, and how he wrote down the words to the Star Spangled Banner, how it came about, and then talk a little bit about how we respect our country, what the flag stands for, and then you can teach the song. And so that I like I said, I like to do that at the beginning of the school year. It's obviously going to be a little more difficult to teach to your younger kiddos than the older students, but even if you can only teach, a little bit at a time, maybe just each time you see your younger grades, teach them a little bit at a time until they fully know the song. And like I said, make sure you spend some time going over those words that are a little more difficult so they understand it a little more. I'm always amazed that, I don't know if you've ever been to, a baseball game or any other event where the Star Spangled Banner, I'm saying a baseball game or any sports event, those are usually where the Star Spangled Banner is sung mainly. And it's sang a lot of other places too, but sports events is what comes to mind. I'm a huge sports fan. So anyways, but what I was getting at is I'm always amazed at the people around me who I can just tell they don't know the words. They have just never been taught the words to the Star Spangled Banner. And I think a lot of times as music teachers, we just assume that they are learning these songs that are so familiar to us other places that we just forget that, if we don't teach it to them as the music teacher, there's a good chance they won't learn it somewhere else. And so taking the time to really break down these songs and teach it to our students is really important, especially the national anthem. Okay, moving on. Number 2, my second song I recommend teaching is You're a Grand Old Flag, and this is by George M. Cohan. This is honestly one of the songs I remember singing in one of my patriotic programs when I was an elementary student. And obviously, if you've ever sang this in a program, even as a kid, you remember getting one of those little flags and waving it in the air and just, try not to hit your neighbor with it, like we all encourage our kiddos to do too. And so this is just you're a grand old flag, you're a high flying flag. So what better song to teach about the American flag than You're a Grand Old Flag, right? And then number 3 is a song that it's maybe not as common, or maybe you're not as familiar with, called 50 Nifty United States. This is a great song to definitely integrate with teaching music and social studies. I know it really helped the social studies teacher out at my school when I did this song, because if you remember learning any 50 state song when you were a kid, it may not be this exact one. It just sticks in your head. I mean, to this day, I can go Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, there's more, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, and on and on and on. It just sticks in your head. That's with anything with learning music, not to get too far off topic, but anything with learning music, with teaching science, social studies, math, reading, anything. Facts will stick in kids' heads when they sing it in a song. I mean, it's proven. You all know that listening to this podcast, you know that. So 50 Nifty United States is actually by Ray Charles. And it actually also talks about the 13 colonies in this song as well. And so if you are not familiar with the song, even if you just look it up on Google or YouTube, you'll 50 Nifty United States, the 13 original colonies. That's kind of how it goes. And you'll see, you can find it easily. It's pretty common. And if you're not familiar with it, like I said, if you just Google it, you'll see, and it's pretty catchy. And then I've talked before about Music K-8. A lot of you listening to this may or may not be familiar with this, with Music K-8, and I love them. They not only have amazing programs, but they also you can buy individual sheet music, and they also have free snippets of music to listen to on their website. But honestly, some of the best music I've found at Music K-8 is patriotic music. They have amazing patriotic music that available to use. But one really cool song I found is called Do You Recall September by Teresa Jennings, who is she's one of the founders of Music K-8. And this song, I'm just amazed, honestly, when I think about 9/11, so it's all about 9/11. When I think about 9/11, our students of today don't know. I mean, that's history to them. To us, it's something we remember, but to these kids, it's history. They didn't experience it. They're not aware of what it is. It's just like my dad's a Vietnam vet. I was not alive when that happened and when that war went on. And so he just telling me stories and learning about it in my own history classes is how I learned about the Vietnam War. And so for 9/11, just like with teaching the Star Spangled Banner, if we don't teach them that song, our students will never know about it. And maybe not never, but there's a good possibility they'll never learn it if we don't teach it to them as music teachers. The same thing is true for teaching about, historical events. And so what better way to teach them about 9/11 than through a song? And it's a really kind of a somber song. It's beautiful. And it's kind of sad, actually, because, that is a sad event. It's something that's real life that happened. And like I said, if you look at the blog post that I linked to and just look up 10 of the best patriotic songs for elementary music students. You will see on that song, Do You Recall September, you'll see a link to listen to a snippet of it, and that'll take you directly to the Music K8 site. So it's just a really good song for teaching about 9/11. I like to mix in, when I'm teaching patriotic music, mix in a variety of songs that are more well-known and, the songs that we even learned as kids with newer songs that are around today. The fifth song I want to talk about is God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood. This is definitely another one that if you did not perform this song in an elementary music program as a kid, then, I don't even know what to say. This is definitely one that when we did the lyrics, and I would gladly stand up, and when we all stood up off the risers, and everybody starts cheering like crazy. Yeah, anyways, maybe that's just a memory I share by myself. But if you can relate to that, tag me on Instagram and let me know, Jessica Poresta. Anyways, this is an oldie but goodie. I love this song because it talks a lot about, I won't forget the men who died and gave that right to me. It's a good song to really talk about the soldiers even fighting for our country today, and to introduce the kids to why they're serving our country and what is, all about soldiers and things like that. Number 6 is America the Beautiful, Catherine Lee Bates. I like this song because it really does talk about the different, landscapes of America. And it's a good way to have a map of the United States in your classroom and to talk about, Colorado's really mountainous. Oklahoma, where I used to live, has nothing. It's very flat. California, there's oceans there and mountains. Just talk about the different parts of the country and what makes America beautiful. Like, honestly, some of the students you're teaching have never not only left the state you live in, they've never even left your city. And so this is a great song. You could even do a whole lesson around teaching America the Beautiful, and then, kind of like travel the country together in a way where you're talking about, like I said, Colorado, and you're showing them different pictures of Colorado, and then maybe pulling some music just from that state. And it's just this could be taught as a unit even, not just a patriotic song, but talk about the different states and teach them music from those states too, as well. Number 7 is When the Flag Goes By. This is by David Hudspeth, and it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's a song that teaches about flags. It's usually, a good song to teach with younger elementary, and it's just basically, it's a super easy song that just goes, when the flag goes by, hold it high, wave it for our country. And like I said, by David Hudspeth, that's Hudspeth, When the Flag Goes By, and you can look that one up on YouTube as well. It's really easy, and it's actually not a song with a lot of lyrics in it, so it's super easy to teach to your students, but even the younger kids. So some of these other songs have a lot of words, and they're really hard to break down and teach to your younger kiddos. This is an easy one that's pretty easy to teach. And also you can hand out those little flags, those tiny flags I'm talking about, and the kids can even wave them to the steady beat. It's a great activity to reinforce steady beat. And then there's another great song by Teresa Jennings from Music K8 called Americans We, and WE. Let's clarify that, okay? And basically it just talks about what makes us all Americans. And I love this song because it talks about how we don't all look the same, act the same. We're not all the same kind of people. How America is very rich and diverse in its culture, and that's what makes America so great. And so this is a great song to teach that. It's another Music K8 song, by the way. And then the ever popular This Land Is Your Land by Woody Guthrie. This is another one about teaching about America and what makes our land so great. And this could be tied right into America the Beautiful. You could do a unit using both of those songs. And then the last one is My Country 'Tis of Thee by Samuel Francis Smith. And this is a song that also is great about teaching about the soldiers and a great conversation about why soldiers fight for our freedom as well. So there are so many patriotic songs out there that are honestly amazing to teach to your kiddos. And it doesn't matter if you're teaching the same songs, like I said, as the music teacher down the street. But these are just some, if you've been looking for some new ideas, maybe you've heard some in this episode today that you can use with your students, and also that you can continue teaching some of the ones you've already been using as well. So I'd love to hear all about the patriotic songs you're doing with your students. So let me know if you have any that you're using in your classroom, and share it. Tag me on Instagram, like I said, or share it with me on my Facebook page and let me know. And enjoy your 4th of July, everybody, and have a great summer. And I will be back on next week with a guest episode. So I hope you can join me. Bye. Thank you so much for listening in to the Elementary Music Teacher Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And while you're there, I would love for you to review the show and leave a rating on iTunes. To find out more about how I can help you gain momentum in your elementary music teaching career, head to thedomesticmusician.com, where you'll find free downloads, courses, the blog, and so much more. Continue teaching music and never doubt the impact you're making each and every day in the lives of your students.